The visual effects for Season 10 of Red vs. Blue, we really pulled out all the stops. Every trick I have, I've used thus far.
It's a lot more animated content. It's a lot higher bar in terms of quality. A lot of the fight scenes that we have this year are even more intricate and advanced and complex than anything we've done previously.
We've got the camera behaving a little bit more like a real camera this year.
We've got to do everything we can to beef up the visuals and to enhance the world that these characters are in. Season 9 was really a breakthrough year for us, but we weren't satisfied with how far we had come. We really wanted to go bigger and better and do more animation in Season 10 and also have the visual fidelity of it taken up a couple more notches. The main thing I learned after Season 9, when we greatly expanded the visual effects, was hire more people, because that was crazy.
Ready? Just about. Running final checks now. All right, you heard her. Everyone on board.
Great. All right.
With Season 10, the first thing we changed was we brought in Kathleen, who plays text, but she's also an animation producer.
And the guys came to me and said, Kath, we want to make this a little bit more organized and look a little bit better, and we would really like to utilize your experience.
So from there, she helped us build an actual pipeline where we had texture artists, render wranglers, and lighters, and TDs, and compositors, and animators, and more than just me and Monty and Nathan going, how do we do this week?
Working with more people now than in the past definitely relieves a lot of the stress, where prior to this, the sequence doesn't get made unless I make it. When Matt and I are having meetings about story or sequences, he can point out that this person can do that scene, and I actually don't even have to think about it, which is helpful with the amount of animation that was done this year.
So we spent about 2 months fine-tuning the new pipeline for Season 10, trying plugins, trying new software to see if we can make this hybrid look.
Listen, lady, I know this is your first road trip with us, but we've got a system, and that system includes snack breaks, bathroom breaks, and stopping to take pictures of funny road signs.
Monty or Shane will choreograph fights or whatever sequences. So then our job is to just take that into Maya and do the smaller details. So we'll take Monty's performance, put it on our rig that has a face and face controls. You make sure that the eyes aren't just like dead. Like if you're talking to someone, your eyes aren't just still. Like they're not just looking straight wherever your head's at, because that's weird. So if their head is turning, then we need to make sure that eye contact is together. They're looking at each other. Also, people tend to fidget or move their fingers, whatever it might be, because you can't just sit completely stiff. You're always like breathing, or there's some secondary movement. You might not even see it, that's the thing, even if it's just the slightest movement. If they just freeze, it looks weird. It looks like they're dead.
When I was younger, I was into Ninja Turtles, so that got me into gymnastics. I grew up watching a lot of martial arts, and eventually brought me here to where I'm doing stunts and flips in a mocap suit. I guess the most physical thing I've done is have Monty kick a chair into me and then tumble over the chair. I got hurt during that one.
I will allow it.
I don't really have a style for animating the female characters. I guess you just add a little more hip.
When the guys do mocap for the female characters, the walks can be a little square and not very womanly.
So like girls just move differently. Like you can tell when someone does it. I mean that, and then like you can tell when Shane does it kind of like he moves really like manly. So like, if he does it and a girl like plops down, her legs are like spread, and it's like, oh, Shane probably did that.
Hey, worst comes to worst, we'll just get kicked off the leaderboard. At least us ladies will be sticking together, right?
You know, in the past, with Machinima, you just used the game assets. And when we're animating, we needed to hybrid all of those textures and those environments to the sets. So we hired Corey Day.
So I tend to build levels or areas as if it were for a video game. So putting in a back hallway or something that you may just barely see out of the shot. I think it sells this as a real environment, not just a set or a prop or something they're standing in front of. I also try to create an environment as a character. Basically, it's its own entity, and I like to be able to put personality into it. There's a scene in the locker rooms, and Wash is sitting in front of his locker, and we just put some fun things in there to try and kind of give him more of a personality. And I think we could have placed him in front of a generic locker bank and kind of told the same story, but while the dialogue's going on, it allows the viewer to kind of look around and get kind of a sense for his character.
We take the rendered animation frames that come from the animation teams. We enhance the lighting. We make the camera look and behave more like a camera would in that scenario. And then we make stuff explode.
Well, we decided this season to venture very slowly and tentatively into doing like fluid sims and different ways to get custom effects and explosions. Sometimes it's easier to do stock explosions, but for when you want cool ones, like for example when the grenade gets shot in the longshore sequence.
Now! No, wait, not now, not now!
We want to do a cool explosion. It's a cool moment. It's very focused on there. Okay, well, let's do a custom one. And
we polish the shots. We get them done in time for them to render the final cut, drop the music in, and then it hits the net.
Hello, gentlemen.
we've seen all of the AIs before in different forms or another, but we wanted to really like show that these are what they look like. These are our goal for them. I think probably the biggest one was Sigma.
As the director always says, it is important to have ambition.
So with Sigma, because we have this new technology, we have the new way to do things, we thought, okay, well let's make him not only cool looking, but let's really make it fit with his personality and who he is as a character. So we went through a lot of passes of custom iterations of flame for him. We're gonna make him out of fire, make him on fire.
I find that very interesting.
Then additional pressure was kind of put on it once casting was figured out. We understood that Elijah was going to be taking that part. Then we wanted to make sure that we really got the look of the character right. And some additional work was done to model the face more after Elijah's face.
I think it was probably the thing that we've researched the most this season.
What is that thing?
This is Delta, our new addition.
Your new addition is pretty small.
Delta has been around since about season 6. We found that if you go into Halo PC Sidewinder, there's a teleporter there, which is a perfect green screen. So you can take a red Spartan, put him on there, cut him out using the same techniques you would use for live action. The way it's done now is basically every time we have him in a shot, I look at the previs that they've done, the animators have done, and figure out which way he's supposed to be looking, what he's supposed to be saying, record it all, and then we can compliment.
It's all right, Theta. Come on out. People just want to say hello to you.
I don't know. There's so many of them.
Theta was fun.
Yeah, Theta was really fun. Everybody's reaction was, oh my god, he's so adorable. He's so super cute. And we were working on episode 6 animation for him, and we thought, well, we could make him more adorable.
We're gonna have him like chasing a butterfly or something. And then we had all been like skateboarding a lot.
Which meant that we could go out into the parking lot, which was empty, at 3 in the morning and skate around and get the adrenaline going and try and stay awake.
And I think Gray actually was the one who said like he should be on a skateboard. And then I was just like, yeah, he should be on a skateboard. And I just like grabbed my skateboard and just like got to the mocap stage. I was like, I'm doing this. Before we were having that conversation, like I was thinking I was about to go home, but I was like, I'm not even going home now, like I'm doing this. So we just like did it, and it was a lot of fun.
The action sequences have evolved in a way partly on the progression of the characters as well as having the new AIs. For example, North last year uses a bubble shield, and I made it a point to show that he passes out and is covered in smoke from using it. And this year we pointed that out again to reinforce it. And then later a scene comes up where I thought of 2 sniper rifles at the same time, essentially having 2 sets of eyes. And that's one of the things you could only do with an AI, with ultra precision and guidance of an AI character.
Hello, Theta. I am Delta. It is nice to meet you.
Hello.
See? Everybody here is nice. Isn't that right, Delta?
It's difficult to decide what you're going to do and what you're not going to be able to do. In season 9, we actually cut out about 15 minutes of animation that we had planned to do.
Life is short, Epsilon. We had to move on.
We didn't want to do that again with season 10. We wanted to tell every part of it that we had envisioned in the beginning and tell it in the right way.
When it comes to the sequences we want to get done, Matt and I think about what we could do to really raise the bar in terms of a sequence this year. And then we just like kind of dive in and do it. So we took the advantages of things that we haven't seen in Halo, like the space fight. I think space battles in Halo is something everyone's been wanting to see, where like cannons are firing left and right and you got two ships parallel to each other and just blowing chunks off of each other. So that's one of the stand-apart parts of this season that's just way above what we could have done last year.
One of the challenges we had with episode 5 of this year, where we're introducing Theta and what his capabilities are and trying to convey that to the audience, is that there's the bubble shield that North uses has to go on and off at a very specific time. So we designed this very slow motion shot where you follow the trajectory of North's bullet as it goes across, and just in the moment it gets up to the bubble shield blinks off, the bullet goes through, and then it comes back on, blocking the other bullets. And conceptually, sounds easy. It took like 5 weeks for that one shot.
It's definitely a very complex scene.
Yeah, you've got the air warping around North's sniper round as it exits the rifle, and how does light behave coming through the bubble shield? So if you we want to do kind of a warp or distortion of what you can see of the background through the bubble shield. So then you're having to take the geometry of the bubble shield and turn that into what we call a displacement map, which kind of pushes the background around and makes it look like it's refracting or faking everything.
Yeah.
Thank you. I worked super hard on it.
We've always have weird technical glitches. I think the one that we get the most often is we're rendering something and the bodies don't show up, just the heads. So it's these weird like science fiction floaty heads that just go around. I feel like maybe we should add jars for them. So they're like the Futurama heads in jars that just float around. There's one scene where Wash is sitting down next to Carolina and they're getting ready to go into a big space battle. And he's asking her how she's feeling and if she's prepared.
And then it comes out of render and like the character's just like,
He's just like jerking off right next to Carolina.
And then Ryan's like, Dustin, why did you animate this? This is not good.
We did not animate him on purpose to be abusing himself. There's always new surprises and new challenges when you're dealing with a really complex animated show, and I think we went through all of them.
I mean, we had the best team that you could ever ask for, and I think that they learned a lot more than they really planned to coming into this whole pipeline. And I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud that they accepted the challenge, and they've made it look as good as possible.